Good morning, Richard.
Hey, good morning, Keith Jones.
Got your
Welcome to the
got your,
show.
got your flannel on. I love it.
I'm going to have an enormous lumberjack breakfast, so I thought I'd look the part.
Boy, you got it down. You got it down. It's awesome, man. Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, you ready to jump right into it?
I do, but I first want to find out. Let's turn to the side. Is it goatee? Is it a full beard or just the goatee?
It's a
Oh man,
little shadow there. A little
that
shadow.
looks great, man. That combo is killer. Good for you.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
yeah, with our podcast today, I thought, inspired by you, that we do a topic that is making flaws look beautiful.
I love that idea. I mean, no, I have no shortage of flaws and plenty of ugliness. So the idea that you can turn a flaw into something beautiful appeals. So, you know, the Japanese have a concept. It's actually an art form, but it's also a metaphor. And it's called kintsugi, and it's Kintsugi, kintsugi. And the Japanese use this art form to repair things that are broken. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a coffee cup, and the coffee cup one day crashes to your ceramic floor, and it goes into three or four pieces. Well, normally what we would do when we have a malfunction like that, and something that looks like it's destroyed, is we pitch it. This is a throwaway culture. The West is great for giving up on things and not repairing them and just going to the store and getting something new. Japanese don't look at it that way. They look at those three or four pieces as an opportunity to mend those flaws and make that cup more beautiful. And
Mm.
so kintsugi is the idea that you take those three or four parts and you use a type of gold powder mixed in a glue. And the gold powder and glue puts all of the parts back together. So you, at the end of the day, have the same cup, the same size. The only difference is you now have striations, you now have lines of beautiful gold where there was nothing before. So the concept is you take something broken, something flawed, you make it better by making it more beautiful and then retaining its use, and it comes back in a way to you that's much, much more appealing and much more rich and much more lovable than what it was before the break. And the metaphor, obviously, is that for whatever flaw we have, whatever things we don't like, we can change those things simply by adjusting our attitude and looking at that in a different way. And the attitude change is the gold glue. The gold glue is the change that allows you to see a flaw as something beautiful.
Wow, Rick, that is wow. I mean, my mind is blown right now with the whole idea and the metaphor of it. And I just see all the different applications of it. So for example, this physical existence that we have and the conscious or spiritual existence, and the glue being bringing that spirituality or that consciousness to every aspect of my human life, right? So that there's no separation between how me practicing of certain faith or a meditation, but gluing it throughout my entire life. Like, so the way that I live my life is my spiritual practice, right? The way that I love my neighbors, like incorporating the two and not having them separate, to where I'm only going to be one way with a certain group of people or in a certain situation or circumstance. And that is just absolutely beautiful. I also think about the areas that I feel short in my life. At least I thought I did, and I could have used kintsugi for a lot of those when I think about them. An example of one would be that um, I was so focused on achievement and striving that I didn't see there being room to be patient, to be loving, to be kind, to be thoughtful as I went about my business of taking action. But by gluing in or making space for inner peace that informs my action, the action became intelligent action. Before it was just reactive. or
Mm,
it was being motivated by something that was not a conscious. And so I think of it in that way too. And then finally, there's so many things from my past that I felt hurt, pain, scars, or I felt shame about,
mm,
that I was discarding, that I was running away from, that I was keeping, tucked away so no one could see it. And so much so that over time, I, fooled myself into thinking that they didn't exist.
mm,
But that, as you mentioned, that ugliness, those flaws, they're part of the, of my whole experience, right? And so to go back and repair those things, to shine light on them, to embrace them as being a part of me, is so important, because together they make the whole, and everything else is not honest, it's not true. And
mm.
so and I think that's where vulnerability comes in too, Rick, right? Allowing the cracks to be visible, and not acting as if they don't exist, to surrender to all of it. And man, you've been a great teacher of that, for me, and you've made it easy for me to be authentic. You made it really easy for me because you don't judge me. You've seen me go through some rough times, and you made me feel like that was okay, that those flaws, those mistakes, those stumbles were okay. And here's where we go from here. Let's pick that up. Let's do this together. Let's use that, to, what's the word I'm looking for? Not to come back, but use that as part of your journey, because it's informed part of your journey moving. It will inform your journey moving forward. So, Rick, this has a great application to me, and I've been notorious for throwing and discarding things and relationships and the like. Uh,
Mm.
and now I have a different perspective, and I think in this case, the kintsugi is my practice. It
Mm.
helps me. It's the glue to it all.
Boy, that's beautifully said, Keith. And I think one of the reasons why it's so important is that no one is flawless. One of, I think, our misconceptions, one of our misconceptions, one of our many, one of mine anyway, is that you look at other people and you think, everything is just perfect in their lives. They've got nothing but brand new Neiman Marcus bowls. Well, I don't think that's true, number one. And number two, the idea of being flawless, what's the appeal there? What is it that you think you need to do? In other words, what do you think you gain by being flawless? I think that's a tragedy, because it's really about trying to get other people to like you, to show them that you have so many great things going for you that you have to be likable. And it gets back to the stuff we talk about all the time, which is being true to yourself, and living authentically without trying to curry the love or the enjoyment of other people. I mean, going out of your way, manipulating people to like you. And that's a big flaw that I have. It's there every day. And I think that the way that I have made peace with it is I get a kick out of it. I kind of chuckle at myself when I think, how far are you willing to go, to make yourself look good? I mean, it takes a lot of energy, number one, and number two, it's just a very low level of enlightenment. Um, I don't know. So Kintsugi for me has been very helpful, and I deal with things like my neck waddle and my gray hair. Those are all things that are flaws, but I kind of like them now. I kind of like the idea that I've got some wrinkles and I'm old, and I don't have to do the same rat race stuff I did when I was your age or younger. So anyway, the point is, if you think about it, it's a choice, and if you want to accept flaws, which I think we all need to in order to become where we want to be, peaceful, understanding of ourselves, compassionate of others. Those flaws all have to be accepted. And the way to accept them is to not only acknowledge them, but to put some gold glue between what you think is broken, the concept of what it should be and what it is. Put that gold glue in that seam and understand that it's all part of life. It's all part of life, and it's all good.
I totally agree, Rick. And I think if we apply that to our own lives and how we work on ourselves, I think it allows us to allow other people to do the same. You
That's right.
know,
Yes.
accepting their flaws. I know people when it comes to their children or to their colleagues at work, and they're so good about pointing out what's missing and the flaws of it all. And if I want to just be busy with gluing mine, let me just glue mine. I got so many that I really don't have time to be working on somebody else's. Even if it is a flaw, because it may not be, it could be just my perception.
That's right.
But to think that my work here is all done, and I mean, it's just not true. I mean, the very idea that I have time to point out where somebody else has imperfections exposes the very flaw that's in me to where I need the glue.
Yeah.
So I mean, keep my sour thoughts, my comments to myself, and let me just keep applying the glue to me. So Rick, thank you so much, man. This is beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Keith. It was good to see you again. I love being with you, and it's a lot of fun.
Always. I love you.
I love you. Bye bye.
Bye.